Today's Under the Sea story is Alistair Underwater. Alistair Griddle living quite a life of an ordinary schoolboy. Every morning at dawn he had a breakfast of oatmeal without any sugar. He brushed his teeth and his hair as well as his jacket. Then he went to school and reminded his teacher to collect the homework. In the evenings, Alistair worked with his chemistry set in a basement. His parents never heard a sound from him, unless, of course, there was an explosion. But on weekends, Alistair did what he loved best. He collected duckweed and algae from the small pond behind his house. Almost everything that lived in Alistair's pond lived in his room as well. He wished he could spend as much time at the bottom of his pond as he did at the top, but without gills, that was quite impossible. So one day, Alistair built himself a submarine. The submarine opened up a whole new world to Alistair. For the first time, he added flatworms and leeches to his pond collection. Sometimes he forgot all about the world above water and had to be reminded. One day, Alistair was circling the bottom of his pond when he noticed a small opening in its floor. He was quite concerned that he might be missing some pond life. So, he put his submarine into gear and headed down through the tunnel. Alistair soon realized that there was more than one tunnel under his pond. In fact, there were hundreds of tunnels going off in all directions. Every turn he took it deeper into the earth. He saw creatures he didn't recognize from his own pond. Then all of a sudden, Alistair's tunnel emptied out an enormous underground cavern. Alistair parked his submarine by the side of the rock and got out to take a water sample. He was about to unstop his test tube when he thought he heard a noise. Alistair turned around just in time to see some frog people disappear behind a rock. When the frog people realized that Alistair was not going to hurt them, they came back out to meet him. Alistair liked the frog people. They remind him of the frogs back in his old pond. The frog people invite Alistair to have lunch with them. Although Alistair liked the salad, he didn't touch the flies. After lunch, the frog babies wanted to sit in Alistair's submarine. Alistair made a promise not to touch anything. One of the frog babies was just about to touch the controls when all of a sudden something quite large and powerful came rushing through the water. Alistair and the frog babies were sent flying through the air. It was then that the frog people told Alistair about the goose. The goose had been terrifying the frog people for many, many years. Because of the goose, the frog people couldn't even swim in the water. Alistair wanted to help the frog people, but he did not know what to do. Then he had an idea. He got into the submarine and started the engine. The frog people watched nervously from behind the rocks. Alistair waited until he saw the goose coming. Then he took off in his submarine toward the tunnels. The goose followed Alistair, just as he had hoped. Alistair raced through the tunnels with the goose close behind him. After many quick turns and clever moves, Alistair was certain he had lost the goose. The frog people were so happy that croaked for joy. It was the first time they had been able to swim in a stream for a very long time. And it was the first time the frog babies had been swimming at all. Everyone wanted Alistair to stay for supper, but Alistair was anxious to get back to his own pod, so he said goodbye. Alistair thought about the frog people all the way home. He was so pleased that he had been able to help them. Now, he could go back to his quiet life an ordinary schoolboy, knowing that the goose was never again bother anyone.